Alright, here I am recording, and I did test recording earlier today because what's happened is that there's water under the house, and what that means is that it has to be dried out. So they hired some guys to come in and fix it, and there are fans currently running throughout the bottom of the house, and it's created a humming noise. Of course, it's going to be like that for a whole week. I did test video trying to see if the mic was picking up the humming noise, because I can hear it constantly. But the mic didn't seem to be picking it up at all. So, at least in the test. But then again, when I play the video back, of course, I'm still in the house. It's constantly humming. So it just might be that I couldn't hear the humming on the video because it was quieter than the humming in the rest of the house. But only future me will be able to tell the difference. But I decided to record a video anyway, and hopefully it'll be good. So recording these videos and then I review them seems to be working, maybe, so far. The indication is that I just won 2-7 wins back to back and made it into the diamond the first time. Both of those back to back 7 wins and diamond are first. So that's really good. So maybe this whole recording the video and reviewing it is working. Once again, I have the usual draft tier list from Just Lola, Mobius, and Scotty Nada. Of course, I use this in the very beginning, and then I kind of stop using it as the deck starts taking shape, just because this tier list really only says them in a vacuum. Magmatic Chandler is... Ben Stark likes this card. I do not, and I recognize that it is good. It's just I don't like throwing things away. But luckily there's a roost of drakes. Oh my gosh, there's a roost of drakes next to it. Which is better than a lot of rares. Actually, on this tier list, it's actually the best pack one, pick one in blue, according to these fellas. Sign of the Swarm is another good card. Fastword's Fortification is a decent flip land. You know, that spell part isn't very powerful. Into the Royal is another good pick. But yeah, it's definitely Rooster Drakes. Let's see if we can actually get kickers or not. So the only real good kicker, the only kicker card would be the Skyclave Sentinel, but I don't think I can pick two that. There's Clearwater Pathway if I knew I was blue-black, but the Merfolk Wind Robber, gosh, let's see, the Moss Pit Skeleton. This pack is kinda bad compared to my pick one. Yeah, it's just not good. So I think the pick is between Skyclave Sentinel and Moss-Pit Skeleton. Skyclave Sentinel because it is kicker, and maybe we'll go kicker. Otherwise, it might be Moss-Pit Skeleton. Oh well. So still no. Well, there's Gnarlid Colony. I wish I had picked the Moss-Pit Skeleton. Soft, because you can usually pick up those Skyclave Sentinels whenever you want to. So Feed the Swarm is probably the best card in the pack, but I think Roost is just so good that it's gonna warp everything around it till they say that I can't pick up anything anymore. I think it's either the Field Research or the Gnarlid Colony. Again, Jiraga Visionary is also good. And if I had taken the Moss-Pit Skeleton, I'd probably be taking the Gnarlid Colony again, just to kind of straddle the line between kickers and +1/+1 counters there. Actually, the Jiraga Visionary might just be the best card in the pack. Especially good in green, which usually has landfall. I think Ben Stark was talking about how Draga Visionary in other formats would be like drawing half a card because sometimes it's a land and sometimes it's a spell. But because of landfall synergies, it's I'm gonna pick the Gnarlid Colony. It's actually a full card. So here we're seeing black again with another Zoth Consumption and a Ghastly Gloom Hunter. Again, those are just the best cards in the pack, and I really wish that I had taken that Mossbit Skeleton. Wow. And Scion of the Swarm is wheeling on pick 6. Which is really incredible. But Risen Riptide is definitely for the kicker deck here. We can just pass along the Scion and be like, hey, someone else take this. Go Clerics. Clerics are good, right? Someone. Sending out a Scion of the Swarm. Doesn't really work. Scion of the Swarm. SOS. Yeah, I'm sending out an SOS. Drop your kicker decks. Pick up Clerics. Who am I passing to? Yeah, Liliana. Pick up Clerics. Is Liliana even a Cleric? So this pick, I think, is just between Territorial Scythecat and Sentinel. Scythecat's a good card. And I think it's a better card than the Sentinel. Let me just confer with the... Yeah, it is. I'm just going to pick it even though like Sentinel is kickers, but we don't have like a Verazal R. So I think I'm going to pick up the Scythecat for this. Let's pick 8. So the next pick we'll see if that Mossbit Skeleton actually wheeled or if someone actually picked it up. Here, Mucklord's bad. It's either the Ascetic or Scale the Heights. I'm going to go with the Ascetic. I think Scale the Heights. Okay, so the Mossbit Skeleton did not wheel. I'm going to pick up the Blight Blade. So someone picked up the Skeleton at some point, but of course it wasn't uncommon, so sometimes people will just pick up uncommons because there's nothing for them and they would rather just get vault contribution. I think that's still how vaults work. Like uncommons contribute more to the vault than commons. When I was drafting Theros, well, no, here it is. Never mind, I was wrong. That's right, I was completely wrong. So I'm gonna pick that up. I'm not gonna play. I don't want to play a Living Tempest. So right now I'm kind of straddling between blue-green and green-black. I vastly prefer this. Oh, I don't think this is that good. Is Nissa that good? I think Roost. So if we pick the Nissa, we're not playing Roost of Drakes. Can we splash Roost of Drakes? Can we splash the Nissa? Is Nissa splash worthy? I don't think Nissa is even splash worthy because it's like if it was the clear pick over Lone Mage's Familiar. I'm gonna pick the Lone Mage Familiar. I'm a coward. So now we're looking at counters or kickers. I see the Risen Riptide. Having that would be great. Getting a Gnarlid Colony would also be good. Pathway is not. Yeah, I think. So 1, 2, 3, 4 kickers. Maybe the riptide will wheel again. Green pathway, cleric. I think the choice is just the Canopy Bailoff. I'm not really impressed with getting a 5 mana 4/5. Like, just doesn't seem that great to me. Another gnarlid colony. I mean, the gnarlid colonies are okay. No, they're actually nice. These guys give them a C+. So I think I picked this turtle or scythecat over the gnarlid colony last time. No, I picked it over the skyclave sentinel. Yeah. But here I'm going to pick the gnarlid colony again. Oh yeah, Omnath. Time to pivot into Omnath. I don't... Do I just... I could just... Omnath is no longer legal in any format. I'm not really sure I need these, this Skyclave Squid or Trin Templar. I think the pick would be the Skyclave Squid, but I don't really think I need it. I think I'm just going to rare draft the Omnath there. Wow. Okay. I guess the duelist. I think someone else's kickers. I did pass that into the royal that I didn't really have much choice with. Yeah, there's no green, barely any blue. Well, here's a riptide. Pick 8. But of course, there might have, like, if there's one other person with kickers, then there might have been something better in that pack. Sure, I'll pick another riptide over the Might of Marasa. I don't need any more riptides. I'll pick the Living Tempest over the Spring Mantle Cleric. Not gonna really play the Anti-Cognition. Oh wow. I'm gonna be sitting here waiting for a pack to come by for a long time. So yeah, I mean yeah, we definitely had the ability to either go blue-green or green-black. And that the choice where I solidified it was definitely pack 2, pick 1. And I just thought, you know, with a roost of drakes already here, I think that, because I could have ended up splashing for Nissa. But I felt like the Lull Mage's Familiar, well, not as good as an on-color Lull Mage's Familiar is worse than an on-color Nissa. But I didn't think that it was that much worse. If the Lull Mage's Familiar hadn't been there, I would have picked up the Nissa. But I could be wrong. Oh good, the pack's here. Definitely going to pick up Skyclave Squid. Probably be one of the first things cut after the Ascetic. I actually don't know which one I want to play. The Ascetic or the Tempest. I don't have any party synergy. Kargan Intimidator is stalking me. The Geysermage, yeah. Blade Master. Warriors are going to love this pack. Clerics, going to love this pack. There's even a +1/+1 counter synergy guy, but the Cunning Geysermage is far and away the pick. Lithoforming is terrible. Tangled Florhegian is great. We don't really have party synergy for the Adventurer. There's nothing I really want to wheel out of this pack. Oh, look, Akiri. I'll take the Expedition Diviner. I have a lot of flexible 2-drops with 4 gnarlid colonies, so I'm not really too interested in the Nectar Pot. I'll take the Expedition Diviner, even though I don't have, again, hopefully I see like Tazim Royal Mages, more Cunning Geyser Mages. but it's with 4 risen riptides. Our claim the waste is actually good, and it would have actually allowed us to splash the Nissa, but again, I already gave my reasoning as to why I didn't choose it. Field research is a good pickup. There's also Throne of McKindy. I don't think this is good, even, I think it's, yeah. People on the pick list are even rating this like D, and I also remember watching Ben Stark, and he didn't even pick this up when he was drafting a kicker deck. So, I think it's just like, it's fair. It's not OP enough. Ooh, Sproutling. Sproutling's amazing. That's another kicker payoff. That's a really good card for this deck. I'm seeing a lot of these clerics of Chill Depths. A lot of those have been opened. Canopy Baloth is better than the Zendikar. So it's Shell Shield versus Dauntless Survivor. And we're already starting to see a lineup of what the deck looks like. We have 21 creatures. I can't really count how many kickers we have. I'm going to get the Shell Shield. We have a lot of 2-drops. We have 6. I don't think any of these cards are good enough. That was supposed to be sideboard. You're in the sideboard, buddy. Again, not really good enough. Again, not really good enough. Again, not good enough. And not good enough. And no. Okay. I definitely, like I said earlier, I definitely could have had a really good black-green deck, but I think the Roosted Jakes has just cinched it. I don't think I have any rares. Excuse me. I don't. Yeah. Nope. "44 cards. So let's look at the lands. I picked up Tangled Florahedron. And that's pretty much it. How are we on wizards? 2 wizards. You make 4 cuts. Let's look at kick. So I can actually like just go kicker to see which ones actually are kicker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 12 cards with kicker. Okay. Wow. 12. It's quite a bit. Our payoff is 1 Roosted Drake, a Sproutling, 4 Risen Riptides, and a little bit of life gain from Mage's Familiar. So I want to cut the Living Tempest immediately. And I also would like to cut the Duelist and the Skyclave Squid. I'm not going to cut any lands, so we're at 17, and the Tangled Florahedron is like 18, and kickers tend to want a lot of lands, so I'm not going to cut any. We have some landfall stuff and 2 Canopy Baloths, which one of those could be cut, and we also have a Territorial Scythecat, which its counters do synergize with all the gnarlid colonies, because gnarlid colonies give them trample. So I think every single card with kicker is a lock. Like, we have 4 Risen Riptides and a Roosted Drake. I can even see cutting a Risen Riptide. So I'm going to cut the Living Tempest. I could cut the Glacial Grasp, Canopy Baloth, Arisen Riptide. 4 is just probably too many. And Zulaport Duelist. And Skyclave Squid. So that's like 5 cuts. So I definitely didn't get as many playables as I would have liked to, because I'm looking at 5 easy cuts, and I can only cut 3 of them. So this deck, so we have 2 different ways of winning. We have Roost of Drakes, which we won't draw all the time, but Roost of Drakes fly over, go wide and fly over, and we have Risen Riptides, which are like punch through. With 12 kickers, I want to. I think that 4 Risen Riptides can be supported. What am I definitely cutting? I feel like I'm definitely cutting a Zulaport Duelist. How many creatures do I have? Yeah, enough. So Glacial Grasp, Skyclave Squid. I think I cut the Skyclave Squid. I don't know though. It's I have a ton of 3-drops. I think I do cut 1 Risen Riptide. And what's my removal? See, that's the thing. This deck really does not have removal. It has a Cunning Geysermage for bounce. Yeah, that's the removal. A Glacial Grasp. Yeah, that's where this deck fell apart. If I'm going back thinking about black-green, if I was black-green, there wasn't a lot of options for removal black-green. I think I saw 1 Deadly Alliance. I think, yeah. With the amount of Risen Riptides wheeling around, I'm not sure if there was another kicker deck at that table. But there was definitely someone in green. There's definitely someone else in blue. And there was definitely someone else in black, even. Alright. Let's call it the Risen Roost. So I did say that I think this deck can support 4 Risen Riptides, but at the same time I don't think it's great. 3-drops are what we have the most of. I don't think this deck is very good. I think it's lacking too much removal. Like, someone just plays Drana or someone plays any kind of powerful creature. We're just going to say, game over. We're just going to have to shrug our... And also, we're not... because we're a kicker deck, we're also not very... Oof. Do I run an anti-cognition? The graveyard is never going to get full, so it's just a counter-target spell unless they play... counter-target creature spell unless they pay 2. I feel like a lot of people will disagree with me about my choice to go kickers. I think there will be a lot of people who would say you should have gone black-green counters. But, yeah, this deck definitely has a severe weakness with the lack of removal. And at this point, I can't really fix it. I've definitely been slipping on getting these lands in here. percentages, slightly more green than blue, sure. I don't know how to really evaluate whether I need anti-cognition, whether the lack of removal is bad enough that I actually need anti-cognition. There was also that fetus swarm early on in pack 1. I'm just going to play it. I don't really like playing with counterspells anyway. This deck doesn't really have any other instance that it could hold to use. Like a deck, I know this. I know that a deck that has good, that's good with counterspells also has other things that it can play at instant speed. So I'm going to keep this hand because I have 3 green plays. There's 9 blue sources because of the familiar. There's 10 because of Reclaim the Wastes. So 10 sources and 30 cards is about almost 1/3 chance of drawing it. There it is. And now the question is if I play the Tangled Florahedron as a creature or a land. And I'm thinking I'm going to play it as a creature. That way I can play the Scythecat and then landfall. Oh, no attacks. So he wants the cleric. Oh, David. So he wants the cleric archetype. So next turn is probably going to be the Risen Riptide going down. I'm just not going to block that. I think there are better blockers for the Blightblade. Things to kill. Like Skitter Snake. And then next turn we should be able to attack with both the Riptide and the Scythecat as the Cunning Geysermage bounces stuff. Okay, that all went according to plan. He's definitely lacking removal for the Scythecat. He's trying to find it. I mean, you gotta look through 5 cards and take 3, so pretty sure he found some kind of removal in blue-black. Sure. It would be great if I was not flooding. Like, flooding was okay as long as I had that Scythecat, but now it's not that great. So if he wants to attack me with the Scythecat, I'm okay with that, because I will block with the Blightblade. I think that's a good Blightblade target. If he doesn't block with it, he doesn't attack with it, I should say. I'm definitely going to... Okay. So does he have a trick, or is he just going to let it... Okay. Bye, my lovely light blade. So I'm gonna hold the land just in case of mind rot at this point. Also, there's 2 Canopy Balos left in the deck. Well, that sucks. You had another... Wow, milled a Deadly Alliance. That's pretty good. So here I'm going to gnarlid a colony and attack. Go. I did have to use 2 kickers that turn, but that's okay. I guess I could have attacked with the Risen. Well, that Risen Riptide's a bit too late. You can double block the Riptide with the Skitter Sneak and the Squid. So this is not lethal. Crackback 9. And I'd be able to block the other 3. Oh no, my Florahedron. So that's 9. Yeah. This sucks. That one sucks. Oh no. So I'm just dead now. Yeah, I'm just dead now. I guess I needed to think of an idea for... I needed to kill the territorial scythecat. Yeah, my plan was to try to ignore it with a glacial grasp and try and kill him, but... that didn't work out. That didn't work out at all. He just drew too many cards. Like, I felt it was a bit too risky trying to kill the Scythecat with the double block. Like, I just basically put up 3 cards to have to kill the Scythecat with the Shell Shield, the 3/2 Mage, and the Risen Riptide. Well, this is okay. I have basically 3 draws to get to Lull Mage's Familiar. To get a land for Lull Mage's Familiar. There's 16 lands remaining in the deck, which is 50%. So they haven't played a 2-drop, so I'm just going to try and get maximum value out of Gnarlid Colony. Okay. So next turn I can either choose to play the Bailoth or Gnarlid Colony. If the Lull Mage's Familiar survives, my opponent is on Esper. Yeah, once again, can't do anything to remove that. The weaknesses of this deck are severe. So I think I'm going to play the Canopy Bailoff because next turn I can play the Forest and the Land. Taborax is just going to start gaining counters. Like, I can't stop it. Like, I have to kill creatures. Like, what am I going to do? Not kill his creatures? Now, I don't have another land in hand. But I'm pretty sure it's still another Canopy Bailoff. Because I am waiting to see if I draw another kicker payoff like Roost of Drakes or Risen Riptide. There's 3 of those in the 3 Risen Riptides in the deck. There's 1 Roost of Drakes in the deck. So saving my... Oh gosh, this isn't the same person, is it? No. I don't know whether to kill... Let's see, I have... These take 5 mana. I'm nowhere near having that much stuff in the yard. There's some consideration with attacking with the Blight Blade there. If I use Glacial Grasp, I cannot Lull Mage's Familiar. But I'll be able to hit for quite a bit. This will also let me draw a card, which is a land. Okay. Okay. Yay, victory! Well, the land worked out. The glacial grass also worked out. That was good. I wonder, could they have lived if they had sacrificed the diviner? Because a 2/3 could have blocked a 6/5. They would take 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah. And then they could have sacrificed the diviner and gone up to 14. And they would have been at 1 on their turn. Thanks to Florahedron, this is a keep. Just barely, though. I might have to play a 2-mana gnarlid colony, even though I don't want to. I would much rather draw a forest and use Tangled Florahedron as ramp. But, I can't really count on that. So my opponent mulligan to 6, which is kind of good for me. What does that mean? There's a problem communicating with the server? Am I still in this game? Is the game still... I see it. I see the timer counting down. I'll probably restart MTG Arena after this, if I remember. If the... Uh-oh. That's not good. I am going to pause the recording here. This might end up being my loss, but the timer's supposed to explode there. Hold on. Okay, I'm loading back into the game. Alright, so my turn. It looks like I missed several draw steps. Yeah, it looks like I'm just going to have to play this guy. Yeah, because I was on first, so it looks like I definitely missed my turn at some point. Note to self, whenever you see that error, just immediately restart. I'm just kind of super flooded. And a mind carver. Well, it goes with the mind drain. So it looks like it might be more of a black-white rogue cleric kind of a deck. Wait, they didn't attack? Yeah, gosh. This deck also didn't get... Okay, that's a Felidar retreat. Why aren't they attacking? And why do I just keep drawing lands? Like, maybe I should have reclaimed the waste to thin out the deck, but... I want to keep it for kicker synergy stuff. I wonder if my opponent's just... My opponent is being overly cautious. By not attacking. Good lord. Should do counters. Yep. Nah, I'm just not gonna block that. Okay. Alright. Sorry about that, I had to pause the recording just for a moment. So, yeah, this deck. That was a flood. Not really the fault of the deck itself, but kind of, because, like, I didn't get as many of the modal lands either, as you saw during deck construction. It's just angled floor region, so flood is something this deck has no protection against. I wouldn't have even won that game if I had hadn't gotten the network error. And then, yeah, that was really weird that the opponent was just not attacking. Like, you gain a life every time you summon a creature. What are you scared of? You're scared of 2 damage coming in a turn? I guess they're just overly cautious of the instants in my hand. So yeah, I can keep this. Again, there are 19 sources of land here. So I would love to play turn 3 Risen. I have 19 other sources of land because it's like in the deck. So there's 17 that I can draw, and I'm drawing none of them. So I'm going to be forced to put out gnarlid colony just to prevent him from hitting my face over and over and over again. He loves the Seagate bannerites. Yeah. So there's some land. So now he's at critical 5. But again, nothing. I'm gonna play this and hope he just doesn't have Feed the Swarm. So if I go in with the Risen Riptide, he pumps. That's a 3-2. That's a 3. That's a 2-3 and a 3. 2-3, 2-3, 3-2. So it would still trade for 2 of those creatures. Oh, do I want to kill both of these bannerets? No, I can't, because they'll get pumped up. Yep. Huh. Oh well. So... nothing I can do about the journey to oblivion. Attack over. He can now pump his Seagate Banneret, making it a 2/3. I guess I could have also attacked with the Blight Blade. So now I have access to 5 mana, which still isn't enough to... oh, it's enough to pay for the Marasa Sproutlight. Now has a Crawling Barrens. Put down the Scythecat instead. And he's going to pump his Barrens. Twice. Oh, doesn't have trample. Holy F. So I can... 3... I don't have enough mana for that, but I can geysermage one of the angels back into their hand. I've noticed that typically when someone says nice to you, they don't care. It means, oh, it's a nice play. But I'm still winning. And he says, oops. I don't quite understand what that was about. So he can pay 4 mana and make his Crawling Barrens into like a 6/6. Again, shield's down here with the shell shield. Shell's down, should I say? But I do now have a 4/5 flyer, which he can pump. Oh, he can smite the monsters. Again, he can pump up his angel. Okay, no blocks. I think it's time to get the Sentinel back into hand. It's going to be time to attack with everything pretty soon. It's a huge creature that is only being held back by the Blight Blade. Gosh, I was really hoping I'd win this with the Roost of Drakes. That Journey to Oblivion. So he has 3 blockers and a card in hand. If I attack with everything, he's going to block the 5/4. And it'll take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 damage. And on the way back, So he can kill just the scythecat outright. And on the way back, and pump, and pump, and pump. So he'll make that 10, make that 11, make that 15. I can block that, so it's 5 in the air. Yeah, the attacks just aren't looking great for me here. So I'm just going to do attack with the 1. I can gain 2 life from the Skyclave Sentinel. This is 6 damage though. I can play the Canopy Bale for the Skyclave Sentinel. I'm just going to play the Skyclave Sentinel. Cool. Again, he has enough mana left to pump. I'm gonna play the Expedition Diviner and the Florahedron and leave up Shell Shield. And then next turn I can just start attacking in the air. And the Florahedron really is just there to be a blocker. The Drake and the Expedition Diviner are 5 each. Okay. And now we drew our Glacial Grasp. Attack with the 3 flyers. I can actually kick this. All right. Wow. Amazing. Winning. Winning. Yeah, that was a very good Amarius call, and then the Crawling Barons just held off by a single Blight Blade. A hero Blight Blade. They had so much removal for that Skyclave Sentinel. I think that was like 2 Smite the Monstresses and a Nahiri's Binding. Wow. Yeah, and also the mill of the healing cleric was actually kind of key as well. That would have healed them for... Oh no, did they only have clerics? I feel like there was another creature that would have healed them for 2. Which I don't think was enough. They needed to get it healing for 3, but oh well. This wait time is weird. Okay. H. Okay. I don't think that's someone I just played. Yeah, I can keep this hand. Again, I don't really want to play anything until turn 3. Kicker decks are kind of just scary to me because it's like 2-drops. What are 2-drops? We don't have 2-drops in these kicker decks. We are kicking for maximum value. So it's like Risen Riptide, Canopy Baloth, Reclaim on the next turn? Because yeah. Well, this doesn't put cards onto the field. It just onto the battlefield. It just puts it into the hands. Did my opponent disconnect just like I did earlier? Alright, if his hourglass goes to the bottom, it doesn't immediately explode. Okay. It's not me. Yeah, we've made it out of... Luckily we were on the play first, so not having a 2-drop wasn't as punishing or as negative as it could have been. Shiny sleeves. Excuse me, sorry. Yep, my opponent is awake. Gnarlid Column. Green-white Gnarlid Column. It's a green-white landfall. Okay. Here's the Riptide. So I can either Reclaim the Wastes or Canopy Baloth. I would rather Canopy Baloth. Oh, Oran Reef Ooze. Well, I do have a Cunning Geysermage to reset it, but Canopy Baloth can block it if they don't have tricks, but I think yeah, okay. That's great. Well, I'm just gonna have to force out all of your tricks today. Sure. I don't have anything at instant speed and I haven't drawn the second green mana. I could Reclaim the Wastes in order to get it. I'll be taking 5, 6, 7 damage in the meantime. And then, I wonder if I should have Reclaimed for 1 and then played Oh no, this deck is way too synergetic. Two, three, four, five, 6 damage. I can't take 6. This is looking real bad. Again, removal. This deck's removal is just terrible. Yeah, I'll get rid of your ability to have trample on all of your creatures there, sure. So I want to be able to play the Shell Shield at instant speed. I have 6 mana. I have 7 mana. I can play the Gnarlid Colony and leave up Shell Shield. I can play the Scythecat and leave up Shell Shield. I think I'll play the Scythecat and leave up Shell Shield. Oh, good lord, this deck is amazing. This is a really, really good deck. Yep, and he puts the, no, don't put the counter on the shepherd. It's crazy talk. What are you doing? Oh, man. Suffering succotash. Well, unlike the other decks that I said I didn't really think were that good, this deck actually wasn't very good. And yeah, it's like the lack of, I think, Into the Royals or Rapid Bites, which are all common cards. Or a Bubble Snare, again, another common card. Really just the lack of any of those cards made this terrible. I think even the green-black one, I think the green-black one might have been less terrible, now that I think about it, because I think it could have picked up a Feed the Swarm and a Deadly Alliance. So I think in the end, like, I have kicker cards, but I think that there were just, there were people not drafting a kicker deck, but were drafting, like, green, and they were drafting blue, so they were picking up the removal, and people were picking up black removal. I think that entire, what do you call them, a pod? I don't know. That whole table, that I think very little removal was opened in general. Yeah, again, it'll be interesting going back and seeing the draft. I think the draft is really where this deck suffered the most errors. And from me at least. Or the potential to suffer the most errors. I'm not really sure whether it did or not, but I will be able to review it and I'll be able to see poor Roosted Drakes. I think that was the first time I've really played with Roost of Drakes. And I didn't really get to play with it all that much. I don't really think the deck construction itself was a mistake. I think I constructed the best deck out of the cards that I did draft. The only places that I could see fixing it was... And it's a shame it didn't get to 3 wins, because I think... if I just go back here. I think 3 wins is when you get 1,000. Yeah, you quadruple your gems between wins 2 and 3, which is a weird thing. But I'm pretty sure WotC has done the math and been like, most people get 2 wins. The average is maybe 3 wins. So they, it's not a lot of, you don't get very many gems on, for the average person drafting, it's probably not a lot of gems. But I still had fun. It'll be fun reviewing the 2 wins that I did get, because I've already forgotten them. I remember one of the losses was just because I just flooded so hard. Again, the deck wasn't constructed. Didn't get a lot of those typical modal lands that help prevent flood and screw. They're amazing. I hope to see those in every limited set. I don't know what that'll do through constructed, but I'm not sure I care enough. Oh, that was a terrible thing to say. Alright, I shouldn't have said that. Alright, I should end the recording here.